start this meeting. My name is Stephen Leach, and we're going to call this meeting to order. And if everybody will stand, we'll do an invocation, and I'm going to get the pleasure of doing that tonight. Let's pray. Father, we do thank you for this day. We just thank you for giving us the wisdom and discernment we'll need tonight, and just continue to pray for our nation. We just thank you for the blessings of the last day or so in the Mideast. We just thank you for bringing that to a conclusion. We do thank you for this time together in this body. In Christ's name we pray, amen. Okay, maybe that's a little too political, I don't know. Anyway, okay. We're gonna do a roll call, and we have Miss Qualls, who is Mitch's mom. Mitch can't be here tonight, but his mom is here, and she's going to call the roll for it. So,
Chairman Leach.
Here.
Board Member Buck.
Here.
Board Member Ferris.
Here.
I think I said that wrong. I'm sorry. Board Member Qualls. Board Member Sharp.
Here.
Okay. We do have a quorum, which is good. We do have two sets of minutes that Melissa prepared for us. I did see a correction in one of them. Let's see here. It was the minutes of January 13th, 2025, and it was, no, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. It's the meeting we had last month, September 8th meeting, and it says Board Member Burke. It's in under New Business A, and on that line it says Board Member Burke instead of Buck, so we just need to substitute that as a change.
Okay.
I think the site's name has a correction too.
Oh, okay, and
In that same sentence.
in the same sentence. Okay, yeah.
But I think did she send out the correction too? Or?
Okay, it cites, yeah, and the next sentence, very good. Cites is misspelled. It should be SEITZ.
I'm not listed in attendance. I'm not listed in present. Oh, that's January, never mind, I'm looking at present.
You weren't here, no.
I'm sorry.
You were here in September.
Yes.
Okay. So if we got those corrections, and if everybody's, just take a second to look over those minutes. They were forwarded to you by Melissa, and if there's any other corrections. If not, well, I'll do a motion on both of them separately, on each separately, I'm sorry. And I know that several of you were not present at that meeting because you weren't on the board, but I reviewed them and they look accurate. So anyway, I do need a motion for the January 13th, 2025 minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and the next minutes are September 8th, 2025, with the exception of those two corrections. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll move to approve.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, appreciate those when we read the minutes, and we do catch some errors occasionally, but Melissa does a great job, so it rarely happens.
Little typo.
Little typo. Okay. We do conduct this meeting. We think the applicants heard our presentation last time they were here about a composition of board being East Ridge City citizens of East Ridge. We're on a non-pay capacity, and we're not employed by the East Ridge and receive no remuneration. Purpose is to hear and decide on appeals from the standards of the zoning ordinance, which was adopted by the city in 1989. We're quasi-judicial, meaning we can hold public hearings, conduct investigations into issues that are related to the zoning regulations, and make decisions based on evidence presented at our hearing, and also based on specific standards as adopted by the state and by the local city council. Our decisions are final and binding, meaning any appeal from our decisions is made to a court of competent jurisdiction, and it's not to the East Ridge City Council or the local East Ridge City Courts. As I stated, we are an administrative board and have only the authority granted us under state law and in the zoning ordinance. This hearing has been properly advertised. Because this is old business, we've really heard a lot of the issues, but we're going to go over this. And let me read the agenda under old business. VR 25-4 Jeff and Rosemary Sites, 408 Cedar Glen Circle to request a variance from the rear yard setback as stipulated in Article 5, Section 200 R1 Residential District. 202 Height and Area Regulations, subsection E. There should be a rear yard of not less than 25 feet. And that was the original proposal was for a setback of 2 feet or 3 feet, Mike?
It was 2 feet.
2?
Mm-hmm.
And after the sites went back and discussed it, I guess with their builder or looked over their plans, they did make an amendment to that proposal to where the setback would be 6 feet. So, is that correct, Mike?
That is correct. If the zoning board would appeal me this, I would like to explain that a little bit
Okay.
to the board. Yeah, so members of the Zoning Appeals Board, you guys heard this case in September of this year with the applicant originally requesting a 23-foot variance in which the Board of Zoning Appeals asked if the addition could be reduced. The subject property is in the R1 zone district, which does require a 25-foot setback. The applicant is now proposing to construct a 22 by 33-foot addition to the rear existing single-family dwelling. Based on the current site conditions and lot configuration, the proposed addition will result in a rear yard setback of 6 feet, requiring a variance of 19 feet from the established requirement. Originally, the applicant sought from the Board of Zoning Appeals to construct a 25-foot by 30-foot addition, requesting a 23-foot setback, which would result in a setback of 2 feet.
So, Mike, what is the size of the structure now?
It is, according to Ms. Sites, it's 22 by 33 feet.
And it was
Originally
30 by 25?
I'm sorry, yes, sir. 25 by 30 was the original size of it.
And I'm assuming the long side goes back toward the rear property line, is that correct?
That's my understanding as well. It's to the side. It's to the side.
I think I got lost there. The long side now is extension from the house to the back property line?
I think we should probably get up the applicant
Okay.
up here, yeah, that way.
I just didn't have any way of figuring out how that was situated. So what is it now? It's 20,
22 foot by 33 foot.
if you'll come forward, give your name and address for the record, and we'll hear what you have to say.
Rosemary Sites, 408 Cedar Glen Circle, Chattanooga, Tennessee, 37412.
I'm Jeff Sites at 408 Cedar Glen Circle, also 37412. 412.
Okay. Phil, do you have a revised site plan in?
I do not have a revised plan. He did come over and do the measurements. The contractor came over and did the measurements and to cut it down or to come within the 6 feet. He also presented another option to cut it down even more. However, in the midst of all of that, our sister-in-law got very ill and passed away, so we didn't get a chance to get back with him to get another drawing. But he did put the option out if we had to cut it back even, we could look at cutting it, bringing it farther from the property line by going up, if that would, that
So-
we could come off the property
So
line
what was he
even more.
saying? What was he saying? How far back off the property line then?
6 feet.
But that was,
That was, yes, as it is, if it's all on one level.
Right.
If we go up, he said we can come as much as 12 to 14 feet, just depending on how far we go up in the front part of the yard.
now this is going from, I mean, you got the pool on one side, right? And so this is going from that addition, there's a small addition there. Is that going back from the addition to the back property line? Is that
The
what it
6
is?
feet would be going from the addition
Right,
back.
but that's what we're talking about.
Yes, correct.
Okay. But at this point, are you amenable to the two-story and the the higher setback, or?
We have talked to our parents about it, and as long as we can have a stair lift in, then we're okay with having less, and going up. Because that would, give us more feet on the property line. But as long as there's a stair lift, because my dad can't go up and down steps. So they're fine with that, if that's what we have to do.
So Mike, if that was a 14-foot, then that means it's 11 feet setback reduction. If it was 14 foot from the back property line, that means it'd be 11 feet.
That's correct.
Okay.
Because it would exactly.
Which is north here? Is this north? When you're facing the property?
If you're facing the property, this is the addition over here. This is the side of the house is existing.
Okay, so this is the rear
So
side.
yes, this would be rear. And if we,
Side, I'm sorry.
6 feet.
and if we went up, it would basically.
12 to
the
14.
addition that's there, and then it would just go up.
Okay, so I should flip it this way, right? So that's your
Yes.
side yard, this would be your rear then, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so that's 25.
Everybody following that?
This is the
Okay,
rear.
that makes
Yes,
sense.
okay.
Okay, Mike,
I'm sorry.
can you explain all that to us? Did you sketch it out, or do you know?
It's basically what Rosemary has here. So if you have this with the bedroom, I guess, this would be towards the rear property line, and so this would be your side lot line here.
Okay,
Yeah, on the kitchen side,
I
yeah.
was
So if that makes a
totally-
little bit more
I
sense.
was totally backwards on that.
Yeah, I was too. I apologize.
So the bedroom side would be either, if we went with a two-story, it could be 12 or 14. If we go with a single story, it's back to 6, right? Off the back property line. Okay.
Yeah, it would fall with the existing room that's already there, the existing variance that we had.
And they filed for a 2-foot, so I think that's, I don't speak for the whole board, but I think the 2-foot is definitely out.
The original.
Yeah, and I'm much more amenable to a 12 or 14, I think. I drove around there today just looking, and, I mean, there's some outbuildings, and y'all have 2 outbuildings. I wasn't looking at I was looking at any kind of tight lots. I didn't see anything out there where they had a lot in the backyard, with the intrusion into the rear property line, so. So I think I would be a lot more amenable, 12 to 14. I think 14 really is what I would prefer, but I'll open it up to the board. Do you have any questions of the sites?
Well, this might actually just be a general question, but are there two variances for the one on the back too then?
No, just one.
This is just the one?
Yeah.
It was, but did you say that there was going to be two over on the back lot? With the,
No, the variance would, the side yard lot line would be well within the 10-foot
Yeah.
requirements, but the rear lot would be, yes.
They're good on the sides.
Mhm.
If they were on the street side, because it's a corner lot, it'd be 25 feet. But the interior portion of that lot is just 10 feet.
Mhm.
So, and they've really got driveway in there, and those buildings are stuck on the back. So,
That's
are the
correct.
buildings still gonna go?
Yes, they have to,
Okay.
yeah, that's where the
I was gonna
addition
say,
would go.
otherwise you couldn't walk through the backyard.
Right, yeah, no.
I believe a lot of those lots down in Cedar Glen, I've done a lot of inspections in that area. They're at the minimum, I think, of 10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So they're fairly small lots down there. I mean, even though they do meet the minimum requirements.
Were they always on sewer?
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
Because she mentioned she had a grinder pump stuck in there someplace.
Yeah, depending on the elevation and
Yeah,
stuff, you might.
Because that's a
need that.
low area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I
It
think-
wouldn't flow by gravity, so it'd need additional support to move the effluent.
Sewer's in the street.
Hmm.
Okay. Gina, you have any questions? Any comments or questions for them?
So one story would be 6 feet,
Mhm.
and if you went up, by putting the chairlift inside for your parents,
Mhm.
12 to 14, is that the way I'm understanding it?
Yes,
Yeah, and we probably would want to specify 12 or
right,
Yeah.
specify which one.
12 or 14.
We've not had any complaints from the surrounding neighbors,
I
questions about it.
I haven't fielded anything, so.
The building department hasn't received anything on it to know.
I mean, that's not the only reason we look at it, but I
No.
think seems to be a reasonable accommodation. Okay, Tyler, you have any questions?
no, no questions. I think that cleared up, I might just misunderstanding there.
Oh.
Okay, Jane?
Yeah. I was just gonna, to your question, when I mentioned the other variance, we had a variance a few years ago to add an addition. And when I mentioned the first variance, that's what I meant when we got the variance for that addition. So that was a few years ago. so
Was that that shed roof that comes off the back? That shed roof that comes off the back?
Yes, I think that was a 15-foot variance this board granted at the time, yeah, for a rear setback.
I recall it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So we'll close out that public side, and anybody have any questions of Mike or? Okay. Okay, I guess Chair's preference is to have a 14-foot, which is very similar to what they got before, 15-foot. So I think that's comparable. That's what I was looking at today when I was out there. But you can make any proposal you would like at this point, but, I guess I'd prefer the 14-foot.
That would be my preference too, since they already have that on the other
Yeah.
addition that was done.
Gina, anything? Okay, no further questions of the sites, no other discussion by, the board. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that the, variance be approved with a 14-foot setback.
Okay, and in part, it's based on it's been granted before, which was 15. Okay. Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any further discussions? So the motion is to approve 14-foot setback, off the back property line with this addition. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. It's approved. You'll need to work with this gentleman right here, and good luck on your
Thank you
project.
so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, board. I asked Mike if he, nothing like a last minute ask, but I asked Mike if he would kind of update us, particularly, you know, if you noticed off the parking lot, there's a brand new building going up. Wait a minute, over on this side, on the west side of the building, with the community building.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike was gonna kind of fill us in on that, and then we'll have continuing education, you know I love it, so. I told Mike to make his entertaining, because mine's not.
Well, I don't know how entertaining I can make mine as well. Yeah, you know, so last time we discussed one property that I just totally failed to mention to you guys was the Budgetel property.
Yeah,
The mayor stopped me after that, and he goes, "Hey, you totally forgot that Budgetel." And I go, "You know what? I did. That was an exciting one." So I haven't heard any what development is going in there yet, but I do know it encompasses all the Budgetel and majority a portion of the antique district in there as well. So
oh, really?
all the way up to Cracker Barrel, yeah. So it'll be encompassing quite a few acres down there. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting to know that you know, something to come to fruition down there, because it needs it. And I think the Gateway development just recently started this week or last week, the demolition of the old residency home down there as well. So that one's, yep, asbestos abatement's been done on that one, so it's coming down now as we speak. So originally, I think they were wanting to put a roundabout down in that area to just basically divert traffic when you get to the Budgetel area and divert it into the Gateway development down there. Because, you know, they did approve 61 new single-family homes in that way. I think we discussed that during the last time as well. So, yeah, I totally forgot to mention all that stuff, so I do apologize. So the building back here, the Venue 1921s, that one's really exciting. It's a beautiful building. I think, I haven't talked to Scott on that one. I think it, and Diane Mike can back me up on this, about 85% complete on that one, I think, somewhere around there. A lot of the site work needs to be done yet, but it's all in the works.
There was somebody grading out there tonight.
Yeah, I think they're getting the drive through there, right, in working order to get it sloped correctly for water drainage on it and everything. But yeah, that building's very pretty. 12,000 square feet, I think it is. So it's going to be a nice addition to the city. Yeah, be very nice. I think as far as I can't remember what we all discussed during the last meeting we had, but the convenience store by Belvoir, the plans have been approved for that one. I think we discussed that one. So that was a 3-tenant build out up there. So building plans.
So they're gonna tear down that building, or?
Actually, no, they're keeping that center building. Then they're adding 2 new suites onto the side of it. One being a laundromat, other one's an unknown restaurant at this time, or maybe might not even be a restaurant. Then the convenience store will stay as is. Abatement's been started on the Old Food City building up there as well for the new Goodwill store that's going in up there. So they're abating.
Is that what it's gonna be? Goodwill?
Yeah, it's a donation center, and it's quite a few things. It's a larger Goodwill, one of the more upscale, I think you could say, because I think their branding has just really evolved over the years for, you know, how they want to be perceived. But yeah, that one's going to be, you know, well, they're starting. Like I said, they started the abatement. A lot of the electrical work's been done right now. There's not a lot to do inside that building other than clean it up really good, you know.
They were doing work on the roof the last time.
Yes, that's correct. They're adding some walls inside of it to eliminate. You know, you'll have your storefront area, then you have your donation area as well, with break rooms in the back and stuff like that. Whataburger, that thing is just really rocking and rolling. I did the sign footing inspection today for that thing. It's taken them a while to get through the bedrock down there at the bottom of that 90-foot pylon sign that city council approved. So yeah, they had to go to like 21, 22 feet, you know, below grade there. So they hit some strata down there. So they had to get some big machinery, but that build's going really fast. And I think their targeted opening date somewhere around December, I think it is, at the end of this year. So like I said, they're moving really fast. In the North Mac Smith, they've got a lot of their curb and gutter in down there as well. So I know a lot of the business owners are going to be happy once that road's done. We had a lot of calls on that one. Yeah.
In that general area, has construction stopped on Whataburger until they can get or is it just slow?
No, it's actually so that they're ahead of the schedule, actually. Yeah, so they've got a lot of their grading done already. Storm water infrastructure is in place down there at Whataburger. Yeah, your grease traps and everything are all in place, so they've already started to grade. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, my last inspection, I cleared them to hang gypboard in it, so they should have sheetrock all in the interior of it. So, yeah, like I said, it's moving pretty fast. Yeah, moving very fast.
Portofino's, the old Portofino's, is it?
I haven't heard anything on that one other than it will be demolished, but I don't know when it's going to be demolished.
They are doing construction on the other site that they're doing on, Brainerd Road for the
Yeah.
same company.
Yeah, right.
Brainerd Road and East Brainerd
They
Road.
tore down that restaurant.
Yeah.
That was that coffee place or
Scooters.
Scooters?
Scooters, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't do coffee, so I don't.
Don't do
I don't get excited about it. Now Culver's, if they had a Culver's, that would be different, but anyway.
And so the Camping World, that, the 16 bay, I think it's 16 bay, 22,000 square feet building, that building plans have been approved for that one as well. So what you see down in there where the building originally burned, all that's going to be demolished and a brand new structure is going to be put up in place there. So hopefully that will come to fruition here pretty soon. I think their land disturbance permits have been acquired, and so as soon as they get that in place, then
But
they
they're,
can.
I mean,
they
they're
can
still
rock
in
and roll.
business, so
What's that?
they're
I'm
still
sorry.
in business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It looked
They
like
sure
they
are.
were busy the other day I was by there.
Yeah, they're still in business as far as I know. I do have the new tenant for the adjacent to the Twin Peaks down there. That review is currently in place right now as well. So I'll have that thing hopefully reviewed by the end of this week and submitted back to MPL Construction for that build out. I think that one's 22,000 square feet. So that'll leave just one more out parcel down there at
Really?
Camp Jordan Parkway left to build on. Yeah.
So are we out of ground at that point?
You're other than that one parcel, yes. Then it's basically that 4 acres that was acquired by from TDOT to build upon. So, and they got to meet that deadline of Board of Regions before it closes out. So
Right.
I know they're going to be pushing very hard for that one.
Culver's.
I don't know if it's been released yet or not. I don't think it has, and I can't really say, but I do have the plans in house. So, but I that's about all I can say on it. Yeah.
Building X. We'll just-
Building X. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Okay, well, I know you're busy.
Yeah.
And
Extremely.
and that little convenience store across from the First Horizon Bank, it looks like they put windows in.
Yeah, the Tienda, is that the
Yeah.
one you're talking about? Yeah. I just recently, Mr. Sonata, he sent me because he's got the amount of work he did on that building, he has to meet some architectural design standards. I think he was under the impression that he could just put up whatever he wanted. I was like, no, sir, that's not the case. You're going to have to make this thing look good on the outside. So I did get the architectural designs for it. So it'll mimic what you see out here for new builds and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it has some funky little windows in it.
Yeah, those are 2 office areas there.
okay.
Yeah, they sure are. Mm-hmm.
So that building, there used to be the convenience store next to Billboard.
Mhm.
So they took the gas pumps down, so.
Yeah.
No more gas there, or how do they do that with the tanks? and everything?
You know,
What's that requirement?
No, so the tanks were removed. Yes, all the underground was removed. It's not going to be your typical convenience store, I don't believe. So it's not going to have any gas tanks or whatever whatsoever in it. So,
I was just curious about the tanks, I didn't know they had been removed.
yes, ma'am, they were removed. I think about 3 years ago, maybe. Yeah, it's been a minute, but yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, because I thought they were bringing that back out as a gas station for a while. You don't
Yeah.
realize, no, they're pulling tanks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for the longest, I don't think the owner knew what they wanted to do with it at some point. I know it was a highly sought after property for, I think, Audrey's or something. Was it Aubrey's or something like that? Was looking at that area, but that never came to fruition.
Ooh, that
so.
would have been good.
Yeah.
That would've been nice.
Yeah, I think,
Something on that end up there.
Yeah.
and
yeah.
sorry, I keep referring to Diane. She knows a lot what goes on in the city as well, but I think that encompassed all of, how far down was that? Was it past Buddy
Would've took
Brooms?
Buddies too.
Yeah, it would have taken Buddy's property as well, or
Brooms.
acquired it, yeah.
Or
But
barbecue, yeah.
of course, that didn't happen, so here we are.
Yep.
Oh, that would have been great. Well, we appreciate all the punching you're doing out there in the real world.
Well, I don't know how
mean-
much I do, but it's all the administration that gets all the work done in the city. So
Well, we appreciate you.
yes, sir.
New Goodwill, is that part of Urban Ventures Group?
It is. It is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if that was separate in the same area, but that is part of their.
That is part of Urban Story Ventures. That's correct.
Okay,
All righty.
thanks, Michael.
You're welcome.
Here's our first handout. If it looks familiar, we were going to do it last time, but we ran out of time. Let's see here. that one for the record.
Okay.
You know, we always have to reference back to our zoning ordinance. That's where we get our powers, from that and the state law. And, there are very, specific standards in state law and in the zoning ordinance about, how you make decisions. First off, and we had one of these, back in January, where we didn't believe that we had the delegated authority to make that decision. I won't go into that any further, but, so we, at the meeting, we basically declared we have no authority to even, hear this case, and we dismissed the case without prejudice, as I recall. Anyway, but the conditions of the zoning appeals board are put down here under normal variances. And the reason you have, one of the reasons you have a zoning appeals board is, as you know, in the city of East Ridge, we've got different kinds of property. We've got hillsides, we've got low areas, we've got areas that have easements in them, we've got areas that flood. And so you have to make a standard ordinance. You can make exceptions for, like, utility easements. And we've had those before where we allowed somebody to pull their house forward on the lot because there was a big utility easement in the backyard, or a slope, extensive slope, and where you can hardly build on it. So you allow them to go more toward the toe of the slope. So we've done that. Storm drainage around here is huge, isn't it, Mike? And so sometimes we have creek systems or WPA ditches or whatever that really bisect property. And when they're laid out, they call platting. When they laid it out as plat, they may or may not recognize the fact there's a big utility easement back there, or a floodway, or a WPA ditch. So that is, when we're reviewing that, we're looking at issues with the property itself. That's really what we're looking at. Personal issues are we take in consideration, but that's not our primary duty. If you go to the next page, it's actually page 27 of your handout. It says there are 6 stipulated standards that we can look at, and what we see a lot, we've had this a lot, is a property owner just wants to do what he wants to do, and Mike's the first guy they hit up, and he'll say, well, I can't let you do that, and then it's usually related to personal preference that somebody has. So anyway, that's not a consideration. Does it create a hardship for the abutting property owners? And we had one of those before, and it does. So is there something that the applicant plans to do that's going to create a problem? And we look at those issues. And the interesting thing about it is our variance is run with the land. So if the sites build and then sell, it doesn't go with the property owner. It goes with the land itself. So the variance is permanent, basically, onto the property. And then there's one exception that we look at, and we've had these before. Mike can remember these, where they just want to extend the line of the house, the home, or the property, the building, along, and then add on to one that's already in violation of the zoning ordinance. In other words, it's not a 10-foot setback, it's a 5-foot setback. And all they want to do is extend the building line. And those are some we can look at, and generally we can approve those without any problems. Those are not an issue. So anyway, those are sort of the 6 conditions that we need to be looking at when we're reviewing these. Okay, handout 2.
Quick question on
Yeah.
that too. So we approved the 14-foot variance. They're gonna build, 2-story on there. Say they sell the house, new homeowners destroy the 2-story, and someone else wants to build something else that goes into another variance, say, in a different dimension, like the backyard instead.
Yeah,
They come, then that property owner at that
It
time
start-
comes back here.
it starts all over, it does.
So fresh, like
Yeah.
then that variance that we did grant
Right.
doesn't exist anymore? Or-
Well, actually, the variances, if they're not used within a year, if they're not permitted and underway within a year, it starts over.
Or like, say that they've already built it, they sell it like a decade from now and tear it down,
And they tear it down.
and then that variance still exists.
It
and they
does.
just have to be granted an additional.
Well, if it's torn down and it lies, what is it, 180 days or something? 180 days, then they gotta start
So
over,
it's just
yeah.
empty. That
yeah,
variance is
yeah.
empty for half a year then.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Gives them a chance to figure out what they wanna do, but,
I have a question, you said something about plating.
mhm.
So when someone wants to buy property, you know, go through the regional planning agency, do they help with the plating process, or is that all handled here?
No, it's actually handled at regional, and then they send them to the local planning commission, the East Ridge Planning Commission. But all the base work is done, review, initially,
Now, the surveyor submits it, but I didn't know, did they submit it to RPA?
Yeah.
Or here? Okay.
RPA. Yeah, they're, yeah. And then the planning commission, local planning, is essentially the plating authority. It approves the plats, and it doesn't go any further. So, I've been in situations and in cases where they think it's supposed to go to the council or commission afterwards, and it doesn't. It really, people get upset, but I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. It doesn't, it's really a technical exercise to do a plat. It's not political.
Does East Ridge, and this is just, cause I'm just curious, on your plats, when they're submitted to be viewed and recorded, do you require, if there's any easement on that property for it to show, or any flood boundaries? Okay,
Yes, that's all part of the subdivision regulations. of
I
East
thought
Ridge.
so, but I
Yes, they
wasn't
have to
sure.
be
I wasn't-
identified,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
And it's shown on the plat.
yes, that's.
So, in the old days, and I'm going way back, they didn't even, they basically said on a note on the plat that all the property lines are also easements. So, I mean, you talking about getting tangled up with a title, that's just a mess. So anyway, now they're designated.
Parallel with what the county
Yeah,
does.
now they're designated on there, so, okay. We got a handout. Did I give you a handout too? Okay. Okay, make sure I got the right one. This is an interesting one. We used to be blessed with signs, all the signs. And we had authority over signs and sign variances and sign locations and all that kind of stuff. What a mess. Well, we still have some of that, but this is an interesting, that was recorded as an ordinance in April of 2010. It says the East Ridge Board of Zoning Appeals may grant a variance from on-premise sign standards, which is found in the zoning ordinance. However, the East Ridge City Manager or his or her designee, which I would think would be Mike, shall be afforded the opportunity to provide a review and written recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals with regard to the variance request. When I saw that, I was just like, where'd that come from? I mean, it's a very narrow variance, but then you have the East Ridge, a little bit of the political thing popped in there too. So I never saw that until I think we had a sign variance over on South Terrace one time, and I discovered that I hadn't known about that. Okay, handout 3. You guys are doing good tonight. Give you that. Yeah. Okay, here's another one. This is under Article 8, which we don't get into very often. it's non-conforming buildings, structures, and uses of land, sort of what we kind of talked about earlier. We can permit the extension of existing building and existing use thereof upon the lot occupied by such buildings. And, in other words, if it doesn't make it less non-conforming, then we can grant, that, which is, kind of goes back to what we talked about under our basic authority. That if you got a non-conforming situation and you just want to expand, that particular building, you can grant a variance on that, it's kind of an automatic, really. But then, if you start looking at all the stipulations, that the applicant has to make their 8 stipulated things, one of which was the architectural style of any new building or additions permitted under a section shall be similar to that which exists in the area. You know, that's pretty broad language, and Mike, I will refer to Mike on that one. And then they talk about landscaping and off-street parking. We have required, on variances, site obscuring fences. If there's a particularly a commercial or office type thing, we have required in the past fences to, we normally we don't deal with landscaping and all this other stuff. I guess the city does, but we don't do anything with that. But in this case, it is so wide open that we could require just about anything, landscaping, signs and all that kind of stuff. So it's really that's a very unusual one, but it's Article 8, as I mentioned, and we don't get into Article 8 very often, but it's there in the ordinance. So anyway, y'all have been very patient. I appreciate it.
So if a building is non-conforming use and that use ceases, is there a time limit it has to start back, or then they have to go by the zoning and it's no longer non-conforming?
That's also 180.
180 days.
Okay.
And the reason for that, and that's a good question, the reason for that is because if it's a commercial use, for example, and somebody shuts down a commercial building and before they can lease it up, you said, oh no, you've got to meet all these other standards and get it rezoned, then the property owner doesn't, I mean, you better have somebody sitting ready to go at the time that somebody leaves. So that's the reason for that. To me, it's a very reasonable standard requirement. So yeah. Okay, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you I knew that was going to be an interesting case. It was, and that was a really nice couple that we dealt with, and they were very agreeable. But they had they got a lot that's full. So okay, any other business? And do you know if we have any more cases?
No, we don't. For now.
Oh, okay.
So there are none for next month?
Yeah.
Nothing's been applied yet.
None for next month that I'm aware of.
You
Maybe
got
I already know this and I've forgotten. How long do they have to make an application before it hits our agenda? That makes sense.
What the deadline is for the next month's
Yeah.
meeting?
I believe it's the 10th of every month that has to be submitted.
Yeah, it has to be advertised. It has to be advertised, and then it's getting processed with these folks in building, and so sometimes it's getting other information in. So we try to do the meetings regularly at the same time every month, although sometimes we've had to do a different meeting. I actually had everybody meet out in the field one time because we had such a thorny case. So I said, well, let's just all go out there, and it was down at the other end of East Ridge and on the east end, and so we all tramped out there, and we really conducted a public meeting out there, which was kind of interesting, I'm sure, for the recorder. Yeah. But I think it's important that we go out to see the sites before the meetings, and I appreciate if you do that, because you can't always explain things, and sometimes you discover things when you're out there. So I know the case we had last month, with a person, was doing the carport at the, on the corner lot of Maple and, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway,
Because she said she was gonna take her existing garage and turn it into a library.
yeah,
Books, yeah.
yeah. Anyway, Stimson Drive and Maple, no, and, Bonnie Lassie. Anyway, they're well under construction. I drove by there today. I was out looking at this other case and I just thought I'd check that one. They're well under construction and, seems like it's going well and it looks really, it's gonna fit in well. They basically screened it with, their house, so it looks good, I think.
That lot was so big anyway.
Well, he had a lot behind it too. I know the people that actually own that lot behind him. And, they've had some issues with the TDOT with the Great Wall of Brainerd being put in their backyard, so it's, anyway. All that to say is, it's been they've been kind of boxed in and I didn't know if they'd show up and be angry about somebody else building, that close to the property line, but it's wide open back there, yeah. Okay, nothing else? Ms. Qualls, it's good to have you tonight. Thank you. Tell your son we missed him.
Okay.
Tell him he's only got one more he can miss, and then after that, it's, he's gotta be the chairman. Okay. Do I have a motion to quit?
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, we are finished for tonight. Thank you. Thanks, Mike.